hello everybody. We are live. We did not have the technical challenges that we had last week, but we are going to give everyone a chance to get dialed in. So if you are here already, because you are as punctual as possible, go ahead and say hello, but I am going to give everybody a chance to get logged in and ready to go. And I am going to put a link in the comments that I'm going to be referencing today, just so you have it. So I'm not trying to type when we are in the middle of a conversation. All right, hope everybody's having a great day. Hope if it's warm where you are that you have air conditioning. Thinking of my friends in Madrid who do not have air conditioning and it is quite warm there. So if you've joined us, go ahead and say hello. Let me know you're out there. Y'all know I hate talking to myself. And we'll just give it another minute or two. I know a lot of people today said that they had scheduling conflicts and they're going to watch it on replay, so we'll probably get some conversations going after the fact. So for those of you just joining us, remember we are going to post this for replay. Any comments or questions that I don't see during the session, because sometimes they show up after the fact, then I will answer them as they come in. And Lolitho just kindly let me know that the pop-up notification was a bit late, so I'll just keep talking to myself and give everybody a minute or two to get logged on. Like I said, I've posted a link in the chat that I will be referencing during today's live, so you don't have to scramble to write it down. Also, if you find yourself frantically taking notes, we're going to be displaying this content in other formats over the next 2 weeks, such as the blog, so you'll get the whole written scenario if you just want to sit back and listen and not have to take notes, just absorb what I'm saying today. And again, if you have questions during the session, post them. If you don't and think of something later, feel free to comment on the Facebook page or the LinkedIn page, or send me a comment directly, and I will get you those answers, and I try to share them across all the channels so that everybody has the information. So let's get started. It's about 3 after the hour, and I'm done talking to myself about nothing, and I want to get started with the conversation. And I apologize if I stop for a second and take a sip of water, because there is something blowing around in the air today. So today we're going to talk about a team canvas. Many of you probably have seen canvases in other aspects of your work life. For example, a lot of times product owners will use a canvas to try to get the product discussion started. But if you're not familiar with it, it's just a one page like this. This is the link I put in the comments for you, because this is an example of a team canvas. This one is on the Creative Commons license, so you can use it from the teamcanvas.com. But I would suggest that you use this as a jumping off point once I explain to you how it's supposed to be used, and that you create a canvas that works for your organization or your team. If your organization has a lot of teams, this might be something that you put in the corporate repository that everyone can use for their teams, whether it's a new team or an old team. A lot of times I talk about using a canvas when you're first starting a team so that you can define who you are as a team. But the reality is, in the last couple months, I've discovered that many teams have not actually done this work, even if they've been together 5 or 10 years. So ignore what I said about this just being for new teams. I'm happy to change my opinion. It sounds like across the board, we need to take some time and really define our culture as a team. Last week, I talked about a team versus a group, and this is one of these things. I mentioned this last week as a team canvas, so this week and the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be talking a little bit about those 3 items: the team canvas, that's today's talk, the team work agreement, that's next week, and then the following week, communication plans. And again, these are all in the context of a team. They are not in the context of a big giant corporation with big giant 30-page plans and policies. So this is something that you want to do, even if your company has those corporate policies. Obviously, you have to work within them. But your team needs to define who they are and how they want to work together and how they want to communicate, independent of what the rest of the company is doing, because these are the people that you spend the bulk of your time with. So, new team or not so new team, if you have not defined who you are, and I don't mean a list of the people on the payroll assigned to the project code, who you are, your goals, your purpose, your values, and where you want to go as a team, whether you're new or not, take a pause and step back and do this exercise. And I see Magda has joined us as well. If anybody else has joined and wants to say hello, please do so during the conversation so I know you're out there. So a team canvas, or any kind of canvas, is a one-page way to collect your thoughts. But a team canvas is a way for you to, like I said, define who you are as a team. When I go through this in the longer 12-week program, we spend a lot of time talking about how do we define our values, how do we claim our purpose, if you will, how do we set our goals. Those three things, values, purpose, and goals, are critical. And a little hint, your purpose is not build product X. That is how you get paid. That is different than your purpose. So just keep that in mind. This is not a corporate exercise. This is about who you are as people on a team and how you want to be respected and treated as a team. So one of the things that we start with are is the purpose and the goals of the team. What are your goals as a team? What do you want to accomplish? And what is your purpose? And we don't have time in a live to go through that whole exercise, but again, your goals and your purpose, I'm going to say this again because somebody always gets it wrong. Your purpose and your goals are not about bureaucracy or corporate policies or metrics or deliverables. Those are your product or your service goals and purpose. Your team goals and purpose are about the team and the people. One more time, your goals and your purpose are not about corporate policies or deliverables. They are about who you want to be as a team. And I do a whole talk about taking those goals and purpose and turning them into the annual goals instead of doing performance appraisals. And some of you know how I feel about performance appraisals. If you don't have those goals and that purpose written down in the first place, it's really hard to come up with goals and a purpose for the rest of the year to try to grow as a team. So what are your common goals, and what as a team do you want to be known for? Quality of work, how you interact and get along, team spirit, all kinds of things that you can come up with. And we spend hours talking about these things. And then values. So I had someone say to me once, values? Well, what do my values have to do with the other guy's values? Like, those are my values. They don't have anything to do with the team. Oh, yes, they do. What you bring into the team from your background, your experiences, your work history, the last team that you worked on and how it got along, the team 3 years ago, 5 years ago, all of those experiences color how you show up on that team. So for me, for example, one of my values that is unshakable for me is trust. And if I don't trust you, it is really, 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 I can put 3 reallys in there, hard for me to work with you and respect you. And if you break that trust, it's even worse. So I come into an engagement with that value of trust being so important to me. And maybe there's somebody on the team where they could care less about trust. It's just not a thing for them. Trust you, don't trust you, they don't care. They're just there to get the paycheck, and it doesn't matter. Well, you can see where when we're interacting, we might have a problem. So the values of the team have to reflect the whole, but everyone brings their own pieces into it. So we set the goals and the purpose of the team, and then we take a look at the values. And I do several exercises with this where we go around the room and everybody gets to write down 3 to 5, depending on the size of the group and the amount of time you have, value words that are important to them. So for example, I said one of mine was trust. And then we do a sharing exercise where you explain to other people why the value is important to you, and they can tell you whether that word is important to them or not. Fast forward to the end of this exercise, the goal is to get everyone's values in the middle of the table, in the middle of the whiteboard, however you're working at this point in time, and then going through them and allowing people to upvote different values. So at the end, you end up with 3 to 5 values for the team that you feel embody the team. I use the goals and the purpose if there is a tie or, we can't narrow it down to 3 to 5 words. But these exercises are really critical. So again, even if you have a team that's been working together for several years and you need a team building exercise to do, for example, roll back to this. Start with a team canvas and define your goals, your purpose, your common values. One of the exercises I like to do with people is to create value statements. So, for example, just do it. A lot of people recognize that statement, right? It's a slogan. Well, a lot of companies have value statements that they use for their company that are a roll-up of who they are as an organization. Now, I am not talking about the strategic mission statement, or as someone said once at a talk, the blah blah statement. Those words that just come rolling out that some lawyer has reviewed and they're supposed to embody the company and they don't really mean anything. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a value statement when it rolls up, defines the team. Sometimes teams like to take their 3 to 5 values and they like to write a value statement for each of them. Now, remember I talked about at the beginning, if you don't write those goals, then you can't use that as something for growth for the team over the year and how they're going to improve on those goals. Well, one of the things I like to do is take the goals and the values and the value statements and tie them together. So if one of our value words is integrity and one of our goals is to create high value products or high quality products, how can we tie the goal of, as a team, collaborating to create high quality products to the word integrity? And how do we then establish, here's a baseline, here's where we are, and by the end of the year, here's where we want to be. Maybe your team right now sees quality as a job for the testers or the QA person, and things get passed around a bit and people don't really take responsibility as a whole. And we have a bit of a us versus them. Well, we developed it, you test it. Maybe the goal for the team to elevate that goal and that value of integrity is to break that divide and bring it together over the year by doing a series of activities, team building, and job shadowing, all kinds of things to flatten that break. So we don't have over here one group and over here one group. We have a group that comes together to make the whole, and you can then see the growth in the team. Because no team is ever going to reach high performance if it's every person for themselves or every job role for themselves. High performance only comes when you take those goals and that purpose and those values and you roll them together and keep building on it and keep improving, keep reflecting, inspecting and adapting. So we look at where we are, where we want to be, and how we get there. And the team canvas is a way to start that. Excuse me for coughing in your ears. So one of the things I don't like about the team canvas that I showed you is that it has things like rules and activities and strengths and weaknesses. I don't think rules and activities belong on a team canvas. Your team canvas should be really defining who you are, where you are right now, and where you want to go. Things like rules and activities, those would go more in the work agreement. How do you want to work together? And we're going to talk about that next time. So while I do a wrap up, if there are any questions, Magda, yes, so true about the lawyers, changes the whole aspect of things when we get lawyers involved in our values and our missions and our goals. Changes the whole playing field. If you have any questions, type those in the chat. Hopefully it'll show up in a reasonable amount of time while I do a wrap up. So just a wrap up. What is a canvas? A canvas is a tool that you can use for a variety of activities that is one-page way to collect information. So I've seen them used for product visions. I've seen them used even, a friend of mine, Mirko Kleiner, uses them for the lean, agile procurement. This is one for teams. You can use a canvas for anything. A friend, Danielle, who works with communities and building online communities, she has a canvas for how to start a community. It is nothing more than a one-page, canvas is a clever word, for one page of information that captures all the thoughts, feelings, worries, concerns about whatever you're doing. So this one's a team canvas, and it's who we are and what we stand for as a team. And you cannot do this as a take-home exercise where everybody fills it in, and you cannot do this as a quick exercise. It really does involve facilitation, and if you can have someone who's not part of the team be the facilitator, that's even better. But it needs to be a facilitated activity where the team gets together, puts all the worries of work and all these other things that come up in the course of a day aside. They have time to turn off the communication platforms, not answer the emails, and they can work together as a team in an uninterrupted space to define themselves. So new team, do this before you do anything else. Existing team, use this as a great way for team building to try to bring the team together and decide where you want to go. And then next week, I'm going to talk about the team work agreement and how we go from, okay, this is who we are. We have our canvas. This is who we are. This is how we want to work together. That's the next step. And then third step, as I mentioned, is communication plan. So team canvas, this is who we are. Team work agreement, this is how we want to work together or don't want to work together, things we don't want to do. And then the communication plan, this is how we're going to make those exchanges happen. This is what's okay and this is what's not okay. So those three things are the topic of the next 3 lives. All of these things, plus the last 3 lives, are covered in detail in the 12-week program, Power Up Your Team Collaboration. I wanted to give everybody a little touch of what all of these things are so you can see and start thinking about the value that they could bring to your organization. If anybody has any questions, they're not really sure, they're like, okay, great, you're talking about this stuff, I don't know how to use it, I don't know what to do, we are way more stuck than what you make this sound like, and I don't know how to get out of it, then please message me on LinkedIn and I will be happy to send you a Calendly link so that we can have a breakthrough call and talk about how to get you unstuck. So if you're struggling at all with your team collaboration, and this all sounds grand, but you don't even know where to get started, please reach out so we can help get you unstuck. It's a quick call. You can tell me your biggest problem or your top 3. We'll see if we can brainstorm some quick solutions that you can do and then help you get unstuck. So again, Team Canvas, helping you set your goals, your purpose, and your values. And next week, we're going to be talking about the team work agreement, followed by the communication plan. And then that is a series of 6 lives that should give you some real insight into what we do in the 12-week program to help you really evolve your team into high performing. But these should also give you some quick tips that you can start to use right now and think about. So I hope everybody is staying cool if you're in a place where it's hot, and you're staying warm if you're in a place where it's cold, because we've got people all over the world. And I will see you here next week, same channel, for the conversation about work agreement. So everybody have a great day. Talk soon. Bye.